So that's Hollywood in a nutshell, and if you ain't for it, you get blacklisted. Welcome back to the show. Hit that subscribe button. Let's get to it. First topic, Trump is floating the idea of giving $2,000 stimulus checks to Americans. Roll the clip.
We're going to issue a dividend to our middle income people and lower income people of about $2,000. And we're going to use the remaining tariffs to lower our debt. We're going to be lowering our debt, which is a national security thing. So we're doing a lot of good work. And the numbers were reported so incorrectly. The real numbers are trillions of dollars have been taken in or gotten in terms of investment from the tariffs. And so if that were ever reversed, it would be a disaster. Frankly, it would be a national security problem for our country. And nobody thinks it's going to be reversed. I think we had a very good court case. As you know, it's before the Supreme Court right now. But if that were ever reversed, people are saying, oh, it's $1 billion. Some people said, oh, it's $2 billion. Well, that obviously we can handle very easily. But this is trillions of dollars we're talking about in terms of the tariff income and all the investment income that's come into our country.
They have been claiming they've been bringing in billions and billions of dollars with these tariffs. So if they got a little extra money where they can break off the lower and middle class and give some back to the American taxpayer, I don't really see much of a problem with it, because it's not like COVID where they were just printing money because they were telling you need to stay in your house and basically lying to everybody. So if this is what they can do and it's not going to really ruin anything or screw up the economy or whatever, I don't really have much of a problem with it, and I think it's going to help out a lot of people and make a lot of people happy. All right, let's get to the next topic here. The government shutdown was basically a complete loss for the Democrats, and their TDS pretty much drove the whole thing. Roll the clip.
Joe, you have to go back to what the strategy was at the beginning of the shutdown. There were two goals, both of which I support. One was standing up to Donald Trump. The other was getting some resolution on the ACA premium tax credit issue. The problem was the shutdown wasn't accomplishing either goals, and there was there was zero likelihood that it was going to. In terms of standing up to Donald Trump, the shutdown actually gave him more power, Exhibit A being what he's done with SNAP and SNAP benefits across the country. Oh, by the way, Joe, you're going to love this. Guess who's getting paid during the shutdown? Not the park rangers or air traffic controllers, the ICE agents. Under special law, under that big, awful bill that they passed last summer, the ICE agents are being paid. Nobody else is. So standing up to Donald Trump didn't work. It actually gave him more power.
You see, the Democrats, after Trump won and got in office, were in such disarray and doing so much losing, and their approval ratings were tanking so much that they had to do something like shut down the government, because they thought they were going to be able to blame Trump, and it was going to be some, blame Trump fest for the government shutdown. Yep, he's a terrible person. He's a dictator, blah, blah, blah. But no, it was quickly found out that, that's just basically TDS, and they want to give illegals health care, and Trump wasn't going to bend the knee, and they ended up bending the knee, because it would have been basically a death blow to the Democrats had they kept, faking everybody with this fake news government shutdown and just not bending the knee the way they needed to. But all right, let's get to the next topic here. Bill Maher is blasting Hollywood for having a woke blacklist. Roll the clip.
I think it would be a tragedy, although I wouldn't be surprised if it's the case, that you would lose jobs, because this is, it's a town that loves to romanticize the period in the 50s when there was a blacklist, and as they should, because it was a terrible blacklist. But they have their own kind of blacklist now. Yeah. It's not like they aren't sort of recapitulating that when it was a witch hunt about communists. Right. Now it's a witch hunt for people who aren't woke enough. It's not like we're conservatives.
That's the thing. It's like, that's what's crazy.
That's so obnoxious.
That's why I feel like
everybody knows if you're not woke enough in Hollywood, you'll be blacklisted immediately from the club and never get a big-time movie role ever again. And basically nowadays, you have to be so woke that one of your kids has to be trans for you to be able to fit in. That's why every Hollywood celebrity has a trans kid these days. Pretty much they tell you, oh, if you want to be the big star or a big starlet, you're going to have to make one of your kids trans or else we're not going to be letting you in that movie. You know, we're not going to be giving you that part. So Hollywood nowadays is even woker than ever because that's what's really going on, right? There's behind the scenes stuff where they say, no, we're going to need you to have a trans kid so we can help push the narrative here, all right? So that's Hollywood in a nutshell, and if you ain't for it, you get blacklisted. But all right, let's get to the next topic here. The ladies of The View are so bitter the Democrats caved to the Republicans over the shutdown. Roll the clip.
Let's be clear. The Republicans run the House. The Republicans run the Senate. The Republicans run the White House. The Republicans run the Supreme Court, as far as I'm concerned. This was a choice by Republicans to cut SNAP benefits. This was a choice by Republicans to cut ACA subsidies. This was a choice by the Republicans to gut the federal government and federal employment. Democrats had nothing to do with it. I want an opposition party. I think the Democrats caved. I think the Democrats let down the American people. And like you, Whoopi, I have absolutely no faith that the Republican Party will come to the negotiating table in good faith. You know, you do something like this, shame on you the first time. You do it twice, 3 times, 4 times, shame on me. Shame on the Democrats for even believing that the Republicans will, even vote on it. There's no guarantee in this New Deal that there's going to be a vote. There's no even commitment to have a vote. So the bottom line is the Democrats went into this after a blue wave out of the American people saying, we do want the opposition. We the working people want the Democratic Party to fight for them. And now they just caved and surrendered. I think Chuck Schumer, his days are over. If he cannot keep his caucus together, he needs to go. He needs to be replaced.
Listen, all the libs knew the Democrats were going to be bending the knee and caving to the Republicans over this government shutdown. But yeah, they were just faking everybody, pretending like they were going to stay the course and, Donald Trump was going to pay over this and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, now they're just with their fake outrage of like, oh my God, Democrats are so terrible. We need new Democrats. Listen, these are the ones you're getting and these are the best you got. And they're all terrible, folks. So the Democrat Party's in complete disarray and this government shutdown is just completely shined the light on how terrible everything is for the Democrats. But all right, that's it for today. Be sure to like, subscribe, and we'll be seeing you